God. I barely understood how the glass works before. Now I'm even more confused. Ow. I just completely missed. Yep, again. God. A bit out of practice with this attack style, but I think I'm getting the hang of it again. Finality. Still not as good as I was before. Probably because of the pressure, and oh god. If that attack is in there, I may never finish this fight. I really need to, like, figure out what the best way through that is. God, I tried to move into place. I tried pressing the button, but it didn't work. Really? You're expecting me to look at both halves of the screen and keep track of everything going on both of them? Well, I'm doing better at that starting attack than before. I don't even know what I got hit by. I thought I shot all of them down. God, and like no healing for this entire thing. You aren't looking as good as you claim you are. God. It's so precise. I swear, the dash just doesn't work sometimes. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know why it just doesn't work sometimes. God. There's just so much going on. You're expected to, like, no-hit this whole thing. Didn't you see... Like, did it show me, like, trying to use the dash, but it just not working? It just didn't break through. Like, I dashed towards the ice and just stopped. I just stopped. Okay, yet another attack where the charge thing just doesn't work. You'd think it was like the intended thing you're supposed to use, but spamming really is just what they actually intend. Well, I finally survived that attack. God, I'm too focused on what's ahead because I have to, like, plan out what I'm gonna do. You see it, right? The dash just doesn't work sometimes. Like, I dash at the glass and get stopped on it. I don't even know why I got hit by there. Again, I thought I shot all of them down. I didn't expect this attack multiple times in a row, so I was charging, when clearly I shouldn't have been doing that. Clearly. Clearly I just shouldn't have been doing that. I'm just not going to use the charge shot ever again. It's clearly just useless. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's just not working. What? I don't even know what's hitting me. I'm not letting any of the big rocks fall to the bottom. And I'm just dead. I can't last more than 3 turns because I have to do all this on a single health bar. God, how do they expect you to do all of that? Fucking no-hit the sand spite sounds easier than this. Oh, now I'm just screwed. As is typically the case. How are you expected to do that? How? I don't understand. Like, you need to thread the needle and also precisely dash through stuff. Why does that happen? It's like if they took the wavy part from Sans opening attack, where you need to precisely navigate through like a little tiny little tunnel, and if they made you dash during it, like change directions and dash, and then quickly change directions again, and then change directions and dash. In that fucking attack, when that's not. The challenge is just meant to be threading the needle in the first place. That's what these games are designed for. You can't even dash through those because you just hit the yellow thing in front of it and take damage from it. Because who could have guessed that dashing straight into a bullet would make you take damage? That's why these have got to be spaced out more. Alright. I thought, like, when I saw that when I heard that they made, like, the Bartlett fight easier in the fucking patch, I thought it was just like, oh, people thought it was too difficult. I want to play it as it was originally intended. But if this is how it was originally intended, how the fuck was. How did they playtest this? How could they have even, like, thought that this was a good final product? It's like, yep, that's the fight. Perfectly satisfied with how this fight turned out. Let's ship. Alright, we're on 1.1. Fight's easier now. The patch claims to have also increased the item stock on the final shop, but it doesn't appear to have done that. It's like, you remember how hard everyone said the Sans fight was? Kretcha, if you played Undertale, do you remember how hard the Sans fight was? Like, no experience with it, no idea what's going on. Just your first time playing through the Sans fight. You remember how hard it was? But you look at the Sans fight and you look at the design of the attacks, and it's really not that complicated. It's difficult. It's not complicated, it's just precise. You've got to, like, it shows you what you need to do, and then you need to do it. Like, oh, there's bones with gaps in them. You need to jump through the gap. So you need to, like, react. Oh, there's, like, 3 layers, and there's blasters, and you gotta make sure you're not on the layer that the blaster appears in by dropping through the platforms or jumping up to a higher one. Like, oh, bone comes from this side, bone comes from the other side. It might be a beginner's trap the first time, but you'll remember how to do it with, like, a bit of practice. The trick is pretty clear. Like the one attack that's like a sort of tunnel of bones. That's fairly reasonable. That's perfectly understandable. It's so simple in theory, and yet when you play it, it's very difficult. That is because Toby has created a very like specific intentional challenge. He doesn't just throw a bunch of random shit at you and go deal with it. You know, like I've seen people complain that the Cerebra fight in Pacifist is like bullet spam. Like it's not fair. It's just bullet spam. In my opinion, it's okay. It's not the hardest, like, worst thing in the world. Stuff can overlap and be mean at times, but, like, you could still do it with a bit of practice. You can still get used to the stuff and still, get it. But the genocide exclusive fights are just memorization. And maybe there's memorization here too, but I honestly can't even tell because everything just feels so random and arbitrary. It doesn't feel like this was play tested, you know? It doesn't feel like this was actually properly beaten by anyone on the dev team. I'm having a hard time believing that they actually thought this through. Because it just feels like it falls into the trap of, like, Undertale fan games, where it's like, oh, people like super hard Sans fight, right? Well, let's make a Sans fight that's even super harderer. And it's like, dude, the Sans fight isn't supposed to be unfair. It's just supposed to be difficult. Like, sure, it has, like, a laugh at your expense about the fact that it could be frustrating dying over and over again, but that's just a part of video games. The attacks themselves aren't designed to be frustrating. The very first one is designed to, like, catch you off guard, but after, like, 3 attempts, you can no-hit it. Right? It's not that hard. You just need to learn the fight, learn the patterns, and you've got it. You could do it by eye. They could randomize the order of the attacks, and you could still do it. Because it's nice from a game design standpoint that they have the attacks be in the exact same order every time. I feel like that's good game design and probably is really nice for speedrunners. But even then, like, they could just randomize the order of those attacks and it wouldn't be any harder because you don't need to, like, memorize what attack comes when. You can just react to purely, like, visual, like, stuff. Like, you can just look at the attack and go, oh, I know what to do. But let me put it another way. If you put someone who's, like, good at platformers and bullet hell games at the Sans fight, like, they've never seen it before, they don't know anything about what's coming, you put them down in front of the Sans fight and put the game on 0.5 times speed, there's a decent chance that they could do it first try. With this fight, I don't think that would be possible. I don't think that would be possible. And clearly the developers haven't thought this fight through, because in the very first update, they add, like, a heal option to the fight, which means either they had literally intended for you to do the fight on a single health bar, and, went back on that idea because they realized it was stupid, or they didn't realize that you had to do it all on one health bar because their, like, debug playtesting mode didn't, like, account for that. They just started themselves at that phase to make sure it worked and never actually sat down and tested the entire fight start to finish. One of those scenarios has to be the case, and I don't know which is worse. Whether they thought it was a genuinely, like, good challenge and then, like, realized they were wrong, or whether they didn't even know if it was a good challenge to begin with and never even intended for that to be the challenge. It would be like if they came out the next version, it just was like, whoops, turns out we accidentally had the Martlet damage values cranked up too high. You actually were supposed to be able to do it on one health bar, but you wasn't supposed to do that much damage. Sorry about that, everyone. And, like, it would not be surprising. It would not be surprising in the slightest, because, I mean, how? How did they... No, it's not even worth asking how they did it, because clearly they just used, like, a debug mode and, skipped to that phase to play that phase in isolation to make sure it worked. They probably also tested, like, the phase transitions for a bit, but you cannot convince me that they actually play tested this fight start to finish, let alone had multiple people play test it. There's a lot of names in the playtesters list, but I watched the Let's Play from one of them, and they only ever played through the dunes up until the end of the Wild East. So clearly not every single playtester played every single part of the game. So I genuinely would love to know, what's the number of people who playtested this fight? Give me a fucking number. Was it 10? 8? 5? 3? 2? Nobody? I don't want to come off as too mean because outside of the genocide route fights, this game is generally like really well designed. I mean, you could take issue with the way certain fights are designed. I actually disagree with the criticism that I've seen that it's not very interesting because you just wait for the fight to end and it lasts a certain number of turns and you don't do anything on all the act options are just you know, don't do anything. I've seen that criticism, and I really don't agree with it because honestly, I think a fight lasting a certain number of turns in a game like this is actually better than Undertale system. Like, if I had to rank the battle systems in these games, number one is Deltarune because every option does something, and you actually have strategy to deal with. Like, do you use Chris and Ralsei's turn to spare the enemy, or get like the enemy to 100% like mercy right away and have Susie spare them? Or do you just have like Chris and Susie use their own act options on the enemy, which won't get them to 100% mercy on its own, but Ralsei can also heal? Do you have Chris and Susie act on enemies to bring everyone up to 100% mercy, or do you like spend their turns like sparing enemies who are already at 100% mercy and just defend with Ralsei? Deltarune's system is amazing, and it's just honestly kind of perfect. But I would put this game below Deltarune and original Undertale below this game. Because a lot of the fights in Undertale are just kind of gimmicks. Like, look at Undyne. She has a perfectly good fight where you run away and stuff like that, but it's entirely dependent on you realizing that you can run away, right? It's like sort of a trick, just like how the Toriel thing is like, oh, how do you show mercy without running away? Well, you press the spare button. Though her fight isn't really all that difficult because she's not even able to kill you. Like I would not go saying that I'm like an Undertale purist by any stretch of the imagination because I think there is so much that this game does way better than Undertale, and the structure of the boss fights is one of those things. So I don't agree with the criticism that like, the fights being like survive until the end fest is a bad thing. I honestly think it's a good thing. What I think is a bad thing is the fact that like it's so much harder to just learn and memorize like the attacks because even just like the Feisty Four, they have a new attack every single turn, and you just really can't adapt to that on your first time. Like you have to see an attack multiple times to really be able to get it, but they don't really give you that opportunity. And with attacks as hard as theirs, it can be a real pain in the ass. Honestly, I would have loved if their fight was like easier, but lasted like twice or even maybe three times as long. I would have been perfectly fine with that. I'm just thinking out loud at the moment. It's just not a way of handling difficulty that I really enjoy. Like the Sans fight, like think of how few attacks Sans actually has. The whole fight, he repeats these attacks multiple times. And honestly, with Bartlett, I don't know if she repeats any of her attacks except for like the one where the yellow wings come down and you shoot them. Like I think she uses that one twice, and then she uses a variation where like it does the shotgun of feathers in a certain pattern, and another variation where it's also the shotgun feathers, but in a different configuration, different order. And you've got to remember these independently. Honestly, her opening attack is like the most fair thing in the entire fight. it all just descends into madness from that point on. I still don't even know how you're supposed to dodge the like shotgun blast of feathers. Like I'm trying to like dash through them, but I I don't know how you're supposed to. I still just don't understand it. It's just force damage, and I like dash a bunch to like try to avoid as much of it as I can, just by pure chance. I don't know. It just Jesser in particular just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If you gave me a choice between doing a no-hit run of every fight in the pacifist run or doing a no-hit run of Genocide Cereba, I think I would choose doing a no-hit of every pacifist fight. Okay, here's another way to put like the difficulty into perspective of like how much I dislike this fight at the moment. If you gave me a choice right now between fighting Martlet normally, like I have to beat her like as normal right now, or I could opt to do the Sans fight, the Jebel fight, and the Spampton Neo fight all in a row with a single health bar. Well, I guess in Spampton Neo's case, it would be multiple health bars. Actually, no. Yeah, single health bar. Like the damage carries over between each of the three fights. If you made me choose between this Martlet fight and those three like super hard bosses, I would pick the three super hard bosses. I can at least beat Sans pretty well. Same with Jebel, same with Spampton Neo. Fuck it, throw Undying the Undying in there too. Her fight isn't really all that hard. And Asgore, put him in there too. Still, like, the scale is tipped towards Martlet being harder, if you ask me. Alright, I've rambled enough. Let's begin. Don't get me wrong, this is a cool idea. I just don't like the attack patterns. Alright, so... Okay, the healing act option that they added must be in the second phase then. I hate the claws so much. They just go, fuck it, make them go super fast, faster than you can dodge. Also, on the subject of me having more experience with the other fights that I named, I actually enjoyed learning those fights. So, there's that. Okay, worst attack, here we go. Great. Just random claw when I'm already trying to react to the other attacks. You genuinely can't pass. You legitimately cannot dash fast enough to dodge that. Like, this attack is fine up until the claws. Just gotta dodge randomly because of the fucking claws. Yeah, this part right here, that's fine. And then it goes into claw spam. There we fucking go. Finally dodged the stupid bullshit. Finally, fuck you. You know, one random thought, I was wondering what Martlet meant by, you know, Chujin installing her, balcony. I was looking at the house and I was like, what balcony? But, oh my god, like, the top of her house looks like a birdhouse. It's adorable. Alright, here we go. Only 20. Well, it's better than literally nothing. I couldn't deal with that last one fast enough. At least I don't have to fucking no-hit this attack. That's a plus. No, she's still progressing in her phases. Do I not even need to drain her health? Does she just die on her own? Finally, past that fucking attack. I'm still hurt this much. Need to be fast to react to those. I don't know how I'm supposed to get rid of that fucking meteor. It always just comes in out of nowhere, like bam. It's Mo. What's going on? The serum, No, I can handle it. I have to keep going. I'm going to win this battle. No, I keep accidentally hitting those. God. I hardly understand that attack, but, at least I can get to it regularly now. Ugh. Okay, that's much better than when I have to do the entire thing on one health bar. Hey, the fight's been updated, so it's possible now. I just run straight into the fucking yellow thing and take damage every time. Wait, did I dodge that? That's an interesting strategy. I could just dodge that. Might have just tried invincibility frames, but that could work, theoretically. You know, all the health I get for this fucking attack, I just gotta dash randomly and hope it doesn't hit me. Because what else am I supposed to do? There's no, like, clear pattern. There's no real, like, discernible vision for all that bullshit. You just gotta fucking die, I guess. Hey, I randomly happened to hit that this time. What the... Wait, do the small rocks do... No, the small rocks have never, like, caused the box to flash white like the big ones did. That can't be it, right? There's no way. They've never done that before. There's no way I can get all of the tiny rocks, though. That doesn't even make any sense. I forgot it starts you on, like, the one you selected last. I can't get all of the small rocks, so there's no way that could be what's hitting me. It's hard enough to hit the big rocks as it is. Yeah, it's best just ignore the glass and focus on the yellow bits. There's just no rhyme or reason in any of it. Just take damage from the yellow things every time they appear, because there's no way to not dash into them. Is that seriously what's happening? I'm supposed to hit the fucking big ones and the small ones? When it's already near impossible to hit all of the big ones every time? Especially with badass Martlet blocking the way? Can you imagine they, like, shipped a version of this game that doesn't have this heal command when it's fucking necessary? Can you imagine? Somehow they thought people would be able to beat this without beating it themselves. Unless they like slowed down the game speed or used like task tools and was like, you know, it's theoretically possible. A computer could do it, so why couldn't a human? I just don't know how I'm expected to focus on all of this. Yeah, nothing I can do about that. I just gotta have high enough health when I get to that attack. Hang on. Wait, I could just dash through the red bits. Oh. Okay, so it starts me on the thing I selected last time, but not entirely. Oh boy. Okay, it does it, but it doesn't save between attempts, so that's fun. Fun bit of muscle memory I gotta learn. Honestly, it's better just to do that. At least I don't get hit multiple times. Time to just die. Yep. Okay, overall that just seems like a better strategy. Just minimize the damage I take as opposed to taking more damage in the vain hope that I'd be able to eventually learn how to not take a ton of damage on that. Ah, I got turned around. Well, I survived the attack, so there's that. Okay, you're definitely not supposed to do that. Even though it's the only way to get rid of the tiny rocks, so I don't know what they expect. Oh, this is it. Time to die. Yep, my health just wasn't high enough to pass the health gate, so I guess I'm dead. I should stop trying to dodge that. It only gets me hurt more than if I just... You know, this part is dodgeable at least. That, like, horizontal part, at least I can... God damn it, I shouldn't have done it so soon. Oh well. I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with that. Charge shot doesn't work. Slam shot doesn't work. They make you go to a specific side of the box to shoot the rock, and then they put, like, an attack reticle right on the spot you're going to. It's honestly ridiculous.